Hi, welcome back. I'm Dave, and I'm going to be continuing my Avatar Legends solo game. Last time that I played, Vaughn and Tor Lee had managed to recover a White Lotus journal from Lystra, and they were going to take it to Rensmith in a neighboring town, who was another White Lotus member, so that Rensmith could help warn all of the other White Lotus members that the Red Lotus was coming to get them. And it has been a while since I have played anything. Last video I recorded in July, but I didn't get around to editing it until January and then posting it in February, and now it's March. And hopefully I can remember stuff that was going on. So I'm probably going to mess up rules and mess up a lot of stuff because I just don't remember and haven't looked at it in a very long time. But I'm just going to continue nonetheless. So first off, what I want to do is test my expected scene. My expected scene is that Vaughn, our avatar, and Tor Lee is a firebending. I don't know if he's going to be the one training him right now or if he's just a companion to take him to where he can be trained firebending. But regardless, the two of them are taking the journal to Ren Smith, who is in another town. So let's test this out. Um, my chaos factor I've been playing out of 5. The last session went very well, so or at least for my characters. So I'm going to decrease that down to 4. I'll have to remember when I roll on this fate chart to look at the right column. But the chaos factor is going to be a 4 for now. So I need to roll a d10 and check to see if my expected scene of them taking the journal is interrupted or altered. So I'm going to roll a d10, and if it's 4 or less, it's going to be either altered or interrupted. It is a 5, so it is going to go as expected. So the next thing I want to do is figure out how far away this next village is, or this town, or whatever it is. I think I'll just roll a d6 and kind of use this as a scale. 1 means it's pretty close, and 6 means it's pretty far away. 3, so not too close, but not too far. Maybe take a couple of days to get there, I imagine. Actually, I think instead of that just being a scale, let's just say it's 3 days. That die roll represented the number of days it would take to get to the town that Ren Smith is in. So what is going to happen on these 3 days? I'm sure that Tor Lee is going to explain to Vaughn some about the role of the Avatar, since Vaughn doesn't really know. Might even start training him a little bit in firebending. He knows that Vaughn can manipulate fire a little bit, but he doesn't have the training. So he's going to teach him the basics. Like firebending is not about anger; it's all about controlling your breath. You know, all the stuff that Uncle Iroh tried to teach Zuko in the show. So let's just start off and see if any of it sticks. If Vaughn is able to get a basic understanding of creating his own fire and start him on this journey of firebending. So I think in order to do this, I'm going to just use the training move. It's normally for when a teacher is teaching a new technique. I'm not learning a new technique as per like the rules, as in like techniques that that they know, like fighting techniques using combat. I think we're just going to use this as him kind of learning the basics of firebending. Before I get to that, though, there is something else I want to find out, and that is Lystra and the Red Lotus on their trail. I think the first day, day 1, that they get out of town, I think they're going to be kind of looking over their shoulders, trying to cover their tracks, making sure that they're not followed. So let's just find out if they left a trail to be followed. I think they're going to try to be careful. I'll just call it a 50-50. Chaos factor 4. If it's a 35 or less, it's a yes. Oh, 36. So barely, but they did not leave a trail to follow. So I'm going to take that to mean that Lystra and the gang don't know which way they went, at least not yet. That first day they spent traveling, they're probably avoiding the roads, the major roads, trying to avoid people seeing them and recognizing them, or uh, or having people see them that could tell the Red Lotus, like, oh, I saw people matching those descriptions down there. So they're trying to avoid people as much as possible. And late in the evening of that first night, they actually get to stop and talk for a little bit. Maybe Torley like starts up a little campfire with his fire bending, and Vaughn mentions something like I want to learn more about how to do that. And so he's going to begin teaching him the little exercises. So that's where we're going to get to the training move. Let's see, there's a few little conditions here. Is your balance in line with your center, or are you free of conditions? I believe both of them is true. Do you and your teacher share at least one background? I believe that is, let's see, outlaw and urban. So actually they don't. So that is not a +1 there. They get a +1 from this first condition. Does your teacher agree with your reasons or reasons for training and learning? If no, take -1. Well, they do agree because he wants them to learn how to be the Avatar, so not going to get a -1 there. Is the technique easy to grasp based on your current training experience and skills? If no, take a -1. I don't think it would be uneasy. I mean, he has done it. He has manipulated the fire a little bit accidentally. So this is just going to be 2d6. Looking for a 7+ to be a hit. Well, that is, with the +1, that is a 12. So that's about as good as you can get. On a hit, you learn the technique and your master shifts your balance. On a 10+, you learn with ease and it takes as little time as possible. So not only is Torley able to show him the basics, Vaughn picks it up immediately and conjures fire right there in his hands. Got to shift his balance. So we get to shift Vaughn's balance. How much did it say? Just shift your balance. So we're going to move him over right here toward shift your balance toward reinvention, because these are steps toward becoming the Avatar. Torley is going to be like, if you didn't believe it before, you must now. The ease with which you've learned how to do this only proves that you are the Avatar, if there was any doubt before. I hope that you were able to master firebending quickly and learn the other elements as easily as this. And with that, Vaughn will extinguish his fire and kind of sulk back a little bit because he's still unsure of himself being the Avatar. And Torley will notice this and reply, "You've only just begun. You've only just learned that you're the Avatar. There is much training to be done, and probably much hardship to endure. But you will be up for the task, and I will be here to help you." Vaughn will give a little nod, sheepishly. He's still got to learn to accept this. But they will rest that night, and throughout the next day do a little more firebending training. So I'm going to go ahead and mark on Vaughn's character sheet for his training. He is already an earthbender. I'm going to go ahead and mark him that he can firebend as well. He has not learned any combat techniques specific to that, but he can do some basic fire conjuring and manipulation. And at some point I'll get him where he can actually learn a technique in firebending that can help him in combat. But for now, I'm just going to leave it at that since he is just starting out. It's going to take some time. So what happens on day 2? Well, I don't know what's going to happen on day 2, so let's just roll and see if anything happens on day 2. Let's make this 50-50 again. I don't know that it's likely or unlikely. It just could be. But we're still looking at a 35 or less for a yes. That is a 94. So nothing happens on day 2. So more training, more learning about avatarness. Maybe Twirly is giving him some history lessons about previous avatars. The last one they knew about was Aang. So maybe he's telling him about Aang fighting the Fire Nation and defeating them 100 years ago or however long ago it was. All right, on to day 3, the day before they get there. Anything? Oh, does anything happen on day 3? It's a 51. That's still a no. So this was a uneventful journey. So they're going to make it to whatever this town is. The town, the village, the city, whatever that they came from. I picture the one that Vaughn grew up in. You know, he was the governor's kid. I picture that being rather large. I don't see Rinsmith's village town, whatever. I don't see it as like just a village, but it's not going to be like the big city. Whatever the next step up from village is, that's what this place is going to be. Whatever that means in the Earth Kingdom. Okay, so they get to this town. One thing I just thought about that I do need to know is Rinsmith's name in the journal. Do they already know that Rinsmith is a White Lotus member? I don't know that I can make this likely or unlikely or any other odds, so I'll just stick with 50-50. Maybe one day I'll actually get something that's, I think, more or less unlikely. That's a 65. No, Rinsmith's name is not in the journal, so probably safe to bet that the Red Lotus does not know that he's here. So does Twirly know Rinsmith personally, or only know of him? No, he does not know him personally. He only knows of him. So we got to track him down. So how are they going to find Rinsmith? Well, I'm sure they're probably going to ask around and then verify his identity with a little game of Pai Sho. They're going to go into the town. They're going to go to the local watering hole and go up to the bar, the desk or whatever's there, and hey, you know a man named Rinsmith? Is he here? Nope, he is not. Okay, how are they going to find him? I can't think of anything. I'm going to look at a card and see if anything is helpful. Oh. Personal secrets, secret society membership, password, identity change. So there's a password. Not just a Pai Sho game. So they can't just walk up and ask, hey, is Rinsmith around? It's got to be a password. And of course, Twirly is going to know this password, right? Let's just make sure. This is going to be very likely I get to use something other than 50-50. So I need a 65 or less. That's a 34. So of course he knows this password. So he's talking to the barkeeper, person behind the counter. Maybe it's something like sort of nonsensical. Something like, the weather is always nice when the moon shines on the White Lotus blossoms, or something like that. To which the barkeep will say, oh, that Rinsmith. And he's going to give him directions to his house. As they're walking to the house, Twirly will tell Vaughn, show this man the utmost respect. He is my superior in the order. And Vaughn will nod, of course. They'll get up to the door and knock. And someone opens the door. Let's get a description of Rinsmith. All right. This is the first character, like appearance and detail thing I could find. This is from Maze Rats. Just gonna roll a couple of d6 and see what this guy looks like. So the blue one is going to be the group, and then the purple die will be which one in that group. So 5 and 5. He is square jawed. And let's roll a physical detail. Bronze skinned. So I'm picturing somebody kind of rugged, somebody that works outside a lot, that's always out in the sun. You know what, let's just keep going. Let's roll again to see what kind of clothing he's got. Dated clothes. So he is older, and he's not keeping up with the latest trends in fashion. Or maybe they're just worn. Not that they're old in fashion, they're just old in use. Let's roll one more time. Let's see if we can get a personality. Spacey. So maybe he's somebody that can get a bit distracted, but when it comes down to it, he gets the job done. One more thing I want to figure out, is he a bender? So here's how I want to figure that out. I've got the Avatar dice set, which has symbols matching each of the trainings. I'm just going to pop them into the dice bag here. There's 2 of each of them. I'm going to pop into the dice bag and draw one out, and whatever that is will be his training. All right, here we go. He is a waterbender. So this square-jawed, bronze-skinned, older man wearing blue Water Tribe dated clothing opens the door. Yes, can I help you? And Torley will say, Master Rinsmith? And he will reply, yes, what can I do for you? I don't know what kind of signal Torley would give to say that he's in the White Lotus, but whatever it is, he'll do that. And Rinsmith will open the door a little farther, take a peek outside, looking down both directions. Please come in. And they will both go inside. So Torley and Vaughn will introduce themselves, and Rinsmith will say, and to what do I owe the honor? Torley will point out, this young man is the Avatar. Rinsmith's eyes will open wide and say, are you sure? How do you know? Torley will look at Vaughn and nod. Vaughn will hold out his hand and produce a fireball there. Just a small flame, while simultaneously reaching over with the other hand and pulling some clay jars from the corner over to him. Rinsmith will say, remarkable, you found him. But waterbending. The Avatar's supposed to be from the Water Tribes now. And Torley will shake his head. And Vaughn will say, no, I'm an Earthbender. I'm from the Earth Kingdoms. And Rinsmith will say, so we missed the Water Tribes altogether. So sad. But what great news that we have found you. We must let everyone know. And Torley will interject, but first there's something else you need to know about. And he's going to pull the journal out and explain the whole situation behind the Red Lotus and the killings of the White Lotus that have been going on. Rinsmith will take the journal and begin paging through it and make these sad exclamations as he's recognizing some of the names on these pages. Like, some of these are people I know, my friends. Torley will say, that's why I wanted to bring this journal to you. I thought that you might be able to help, that you might know some of them, be able to warn them, let them know that the Red Lotus is after them. And Rinsmith will look back over at them. And what will you do? And he'll reply back, I was intending to get the Avatar to the Fire Nation so that he can get the training he requires to become fully realized. So now I am curious how Rinsmith is going to react. I'm wondering if he is okay with that plan, like if he's okay taking it upon himself to warn these White Lotus people and let Torlee take Vaughn for training, or does he think Torlee also has a responsibility to help warn these people? Is he going to task him as a senior White Lotus member to help warn these people? I'm going to pull out the Universal NPC emulator and let's get a motivation for Rinsmith. See what he is motivated to do. 90, discourage, 3, affluence. Discourage affluence. His motivation is to discourage having great money or wealth. So I'm going to take that to mean he's also going to discourage, well, there's a saying, money is power. So he's going to also discourage someone having great power, with meaning that the Red Lotus has the power right now and it needs to be stopped. So yeah, Rinsmith is going to tell Torlee that he needs to help to warn his White Lotus brothers. And Torlee will begin to protest. But the Avatar is training. Rinsmith holds up a hand to stop him mid-sentence. It looks to me as though he already has a firebending trainer. And Torlee makes an expression that indicates that thought hadn't even crossed his mind. He was just thinking, get him somewhere that he could be trained. Never thought about taking on that role himself. Rinsmith will go on, and this could be just the opportunity the Avatar needs to see the world for what it really is and to see in what way balance needs to be restored. Torlee is going to look over to Vaughn and say, would you have me as your firebending teacher? Would you accompany me on this mission to help my brothers and sisters? And of course, Vaughn is going to be scared. He doesn't want to face the Red Lotus. But he also knows how important it is to warn everyone. Like, yes, I will. I'll go with you. And you've already started, so we might as well keep going. I will let you teach me firebending. Rinsmith gives a satisfied nod and says, good, it's decided. You may rest here for now, but you must soon be on your way. And I think I'm going to stop there. And next time I'll pick up and see how this is going to go, see how many people we're going to have to warn. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know why we couldn't just send a letter instead of having to go ourselves. But that's part of the game, I guess. Makes it more interesting to actually go and do it yourself. So, yep, that's all I am going to do for now. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.